With a star allegedly ghosted by a promotion and more, this is Pro Wrestling Central. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Touching on ticket sales for WrestleMania, Ringside News noted that with WrestleMania 41 around the corner, WWE is filling more seats, but the dream of topping last year's numbers might not become reality. Despite a recent Wrestling Observer newsletter claim that WWE is struggling, the narrative doesn't match what's really happening. Dave Meltzer reported the company had only sold 48,621 tickets for Night 1 and 51,044 tickets for Night 2, and framed that as a concern, suggesting WWE needed to sell 60,000 per night to hit their goal. That's not exactly how it works. According to WrestleTix, WWE has already moved into Configuration 2 at Allegiant Stadium, bumping seating capacity to 54,595 per night. As of April 12th, Night 2 is sitting at 52,427 tickets distributed, with just 1,942 left. Night 1 has distributed 50,116 tickets, with 4,253 still available. Additional seats were open in the upper decks, putting the total number of seats on the map at 68,143. Asked why she was not a part of the WWE reality TV show Total Divas, Caitlyn told Muscle Man Malcolm, "I think part of it was that I was never super close with a lot of the divas there. It wasn't because I didn't like them or anything. Though I did get bullied a little bit when I was new. I think it was just the way I came up. I came up really fast and had an amazing opportunity to start without any experience. Because of that, I went through a bit of hazing and bullying from some of the divas. But honestly, the majority of the women on the show were super cool with me. I just wasn't really part of the clique, and I don't know how to be. I was still so young and still figuring out who I was, not just as a performer, but as a person in real life. So I don't know. I think I also didn't have the confidence back then that I have now to put myself out there and be in a situation like being on a show like Total Divas." Going over a WWE star status for WrestleMania 41, Ringside News wrote that Chelsea Green is keeping the drama alive, even if WWE Creative isn't, after her accidental countout loss to Zelina Vega on the April 11th episode of SmackDown. Fans assumed Chelsea was still on track for WrestleMania 41, but it was confirmed the finish wasn't supposed to happen that way. Green was under the impression the referee had restarted the count after she threw Vega back into the ring, but the official kept counting, reached 10, and called for the bell live on air. The match was originally booked to continue, but the miscue ended it early. No one's being blamed backstage. It was a chaotic moment during live TV, and everyone moved on. Chelsea, even the queen of chaos, quickly turned it into a character moment, posting online that she's filing an immediate injunction and later hired her legal team to deal with the outcome. But that's not the only WrestleMania drama tied to her name. According to Fightful Select, Chelsea Green wasn't scheduled for any segment, match, or appearance at WrestleMania 41, at least as of last week. When asked about the situation in a recent Q&A, Sean Ross Sapp said, "I'm going to report this story about how, as of last week, there was no plan to have Chelsea Green defend at Mania in any capacity. It could absolutely change, especially with the reaction to whatever this article will be." He added that WWE often reacts last minute to fan outcry, predicting then they'll put her in a skit or a segment or have her defend like really quickly or something, and then you'll have Triple H or somebody like that go, "You can always listen to the internet. I thought the internet said," stuff like that. The whole situation shines a light on a bigger question. Why aren't all of the women's championships being featured prominently at WrestleMania? Even insiders say they don't know either, but they absolutely should be. With the clock ticking, WWE has time to throw Chelsea into the mix, but if they don't, fans might not let this one slide. Talking about where WWE events could be heading internationally, Chief Content Officer for the company, Triple H, told the Flagrant podcast we'll be in France and Paris. That'll be off the charts. We're going to Perth again, in Australia. The Middle East is always off the charts. We haven't even touched South America. Go to Mexico. Like all these things that are upcoming, and we will be doing. During that same interview, Triple H said this in response to negative reactions to WWE on social media. The internet's not real life, right? And the bitching and the complaining that is on there is not real life. Like, you could read the internet and it'll sound like this thing is dead. It's not, and I'll use Cody Rhodes as the example. Cody's already jumped the shark. He's dead as a babyface. He's like, really? Because I don't know, I'm in an arena with 10,000, 15,000 people every night, going apeshit for me selling the most merchandise. He's like, yeah, but sure, whatever you want to say on the internet, that's the golden rule. As we begin to tell these stories, this is working, this is not working. And whether people are complaining online or the reaction of people live is what you can trust, right? Jey Uso's terrible. It's never going to be. What are they doing? They're yeeting dude again. Merch, the reaction in the crowd, everything he does. It's just opinion of a few people. With AEW choosing not to re-sign Layla Hirsch, she opened up on her departure from the promotion, telling the Soul Sessions, I had a lot of mixed emotions over the last couple of months because, as a performer, I was just very frustrated. When my contract was coming up, it actually ended on my wedding day. There was a lot going on. About 6 weeks before it expired, I went to talk to Tony Khan. I didn't even want to talk about the contract. I just wanted to ask, hey, if I stay, what would the plan be? Because I had been really patient. I did everything they asked for me, but I felt like I needed more. I wanted more. I wanted to show them the value I bring. That's my thing. I want to prove my worth. When I asked to speak with Tony, I guess someone told him what I wanted to talk about, so I never got to speak to him. I ended up talking to one of the lawyers and someone else about the contract. That was actually the only conversation we ever had, but it was a good one. It was very professional. I was very professional. I shared my frustrations, which were very valid, and they understood. I told them I wanted to stay, but I also wanted to grow as a performer. I needed that. After that conversation, they told me I'd hear back during the first week of February, but I never heard anything. That was the frustrating part. They waited until less than 2 weeks before my contract ended to tell me they weren't going to re-sign me. That was hard to deal with, especially because I reached out 6 weeks early just so I could have a plan in place, especially since I was also getting married. I'll never know what was said to Tony. I hope it wasn't anything negative, because I said everything you'd want to hear from a talent. But I think I can guess why they didn't re-sign me. I won't say it, but if I'm right, I still don't regret anything. If I had been okay being complacent in AEW, I'd probably still be there, but I don't regret any of it. It just sucks that after one conversation, I didn't hear anything until that final call less than 2 weeks out. Still, I was professional the entire time, even when I had every right not to be. I'm always willing to bet on myself. That's the biggest thing. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.